This is a small video on how to make end caps for your Maytag range when they're no longer available. Maytag no longer makes them, and I couldn't find anybody else who did. And I wasn't ready to get rid of my range yet. I redid my kitchen, but it worked just fine, except for that little flaw. So this is Grandma Janet's Fix-It tips. And if this fix looks okay to you for temporary until you buy a new one, then this is what it's going to look like when it's done. There's 2 screw holes. You need to remember where those are, locate them, and on the bottom there's the back piece kind of buckled out, so I added a metal screw to it. You can take one of the others out and go into Home Depot or somewhere and buy one just like it and screw it in to flatten that out a little bit more, and then it'll be a little easier for you to work with. You'll need a roll of aluminum. I found this, believe it or not, in the Home Depot roofing aisle. It's 10 inches by 10 feet, and believe me, you might need the 10 feet because you just may have to cut more than one before you're happy with what you did, especially if you're not used to using tin snips. It cost me about $12. I need a Phillips screwdriver, 10 snips, a white china marker, a hole punch, and you need some black loop and hook. I found a package of Scotch there at Home Depot, and I made my own. White china markers, it makes it so you can make your copy on that black, and I think that's available in white too, if that's the color you have of your appliance. And that's what the roll looks like. Save those strips there on it when you roll it back up, and that's mostly the tools I used to do this. And you're gonna take some tape and tape together 2 pieces of copy paper. Then just roll your hands over the edge of the opening where the end cap goes to make you a paper pattern. And it worked good for me. Then you cut the paper exactly to fit the outline, like you're going to fit it almost on the inside, and mark those screw holes real carefully because you don't want to mess that up on your tin. This is going to fit inside the other one that you're going to make a little bigger. That's going to have some little flaps on it to fit on the outside. This, because the aluminum is it's just so thin. Okay, so use your old piece that's broken, not working very well, and use it for a pattern there, because you've got some places on the back of the stove that accommodate the way they put screws in to hold the back piece of the stove on. So use that and make an opening, make all the way around so that you have transfer. And you can see I also did cut lines, and you'll be doing little V's out so that you can manage that. And that's your white china marker you're going to use. That's what they look like. They're worth everything. Okay, so there you're going to have that. And see that blue tape there? I taped that down because if you don't tape down that metal, it's used to being rolled up to work with. So I taped it down so I could manage it. And you just draw around it. And then you flip it over and do another one, because you got a left and a right. And you cut them out with your tin snips. If you mess up, just draw another one and cut it out till you get it right. Okay, bend down all those edges. It's time to do that. You've already made your little cuts. That's how it's going to fit. Now, use your hole punch, and if you've got an old ice pick, that works too. You know, but you don't make those holes too big because you want that screw to fit tight in there, because and you want to screw that screw in all the way and let it stick out the other side, because that's how you're going to locate that hole on the other side. You may have to peek around it and use your screwdriver to reach in there and make it level till you can get it started in that hole. So now you're going to put that first piece, smaller piece that you made, you're going to place it into the larger one with the flaps all folded up, and you can see that just fit right in there and fit over the holes where your little screws went in. Okay, and they're sticking out. Now when you turn that around and you try to screw that in, if that little piece right down here is crooked or anything, you may have to trim that, because this is a difficult thing you're doing. It's just not that easy. I had to trim it at the top also. Okay, so just trim what you need to make it fit. Now, those little slices there where you fit it onto your stove, I actually enhanced them so you could see them a little better in white. They won't look that perfect on yours, but I want you to be able to see them. Those can be covered up, and all you have to do is just cut a couple strips, and I cut them the width of the 10-inch width, and it seemed to work real well. And cut them whatever width you think looks nice on your stove. I don't even think my left and right was exactly the same, but it did fit around the curve real well. And when you finish the next step, and there you can see I'm holding up those two strips that I cut, and all you're going to do is take the soft part of your hook and loop and put it on the stove, and the harder part, the rougher part, you're going to put on the back of these strips, and then you just apply them down and shape them around, and it covers up that little area so that it looks a little nicer. And that's the end look. It isn't perfect, but it doesn't look bad on mine. After I redid my whole entire kitchen, I really didn't want to spend a couple $1,000 on the only stove that I really wanted, which is a double oven. So, and it looked okay for me. That's how I fixed mine. It's not perfect, but until I'm ready to put the big bucks out for another one, the oven's working real well, the range and everything. So this is how I fixed my problem, and I hope it helps you. And those end caps that are no longer made, those are the model numbers of mine, because this was on a Maytag MER6772BAS model, and the left 7726P287-60 is the black left, and the black right is same numbers, only it ends in 86 instead of 87. And I make my own. And I'm Grandma Janet, and I hope this tip helped you out.